Hi, my name is Susan Cranston, and I'm the host of Authentik You, a talk show that features people who've made changes in their life to follow a more authentic path. We all have hopes and dreams, but all too often, we don't pay attention to those needs or to the deep calling of our subconscious. Sometimes, it's easier to go through the motions and not challenge ourselves to live our life to the fullest. We can live an authentic life, one that brings us joy and a sense of purpose. If we focus with determination, we can make anything happen. It's all a matter of deciding how much we really want to make our dream a reality. Joining me today is Carol Lehman. She's the CEO of Gamification Inc. And Carol has more than 20 years of leadership and technology executive experience and extensive insight into the gamification industry. Recently, Carol sold PostRank to Google after growing the company from a cool, free web tool to a unique, customer-centric social media play in 2011. Prior to PostRank, she was the CEO of Aid RSS Solutions and FakeSpace, which is a high-end virtual reality company. She took FakeSpace from $3 million to $30 million in revenue before orchestrating its acquisition in 2003. Carol sits on numerous boards, and she's a much sought-after keynote speaker who has won multiple awards, including the Waterloo Region Entrepreneur Hall of Fame Intrepid Award. Carol, thank you so much for joining me here on Authentik You. I'm delighted that you could join me.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me a bit about your background. You obviously have this extensive resume, and there's just so much to talk about. What's your journey been like, and what have been some of the challenges that you've had to overcome through all of these successes that you've had?
I've had an awesome journey, I must say. It's been one that was unexpected for me. I'm a chartered accountant by formal education, and so I never really expected to be running technology companies through the middle of my career. But it kind of happened accidentally. I was in the right place at the right time, I guess doing the right things. And we ended up buying a public company I worked for. We ended up buying a technology company that I became the CEO of. And 4 companies later, here I am. And there will likely be others. The challenges have been many and varied. I've worked in places where we were running out of cash. And there were lots of employees to pay, companies that had no market for the product they were trying to sell, companies that had really poor technology that needed to be redone, and many, many other things, people challenges, just about everything you could possibly imagine. In fact, I've had many people say to me over the years that I could probably write a book with all the challenges I've faced through the various companies, but it's all been good. Great learning experience.
Well, maybe that's something that's in your future. I wouldn't,
Yeah,
I wouldn't
absolutely.
be surprised, right?
Absolutely.
Just given that. And there probably are some common themes in terms of the challenges that you faced with the 4 companies. Now, you are a University of Waterloo graduate,
That's
and you
right.
also have a master's in accounting. So you didn't just stop at, getting the undergrad, you took it to the next level. So when you think about, you just mentioned the fact that you're in technology, so you're in this space, and you're in the space in such a profound way, doing leading edge, I'd say very future-focused work. And I always get very excited talking about gamification and the things that you're doing. I'm a huge fan of yours, so just put that out there right now. So how does that play? When you get asked questions about, you're an accountant, how did you get into this technology space?
It really was a case of I worked in the corporate finance group of a public company that had me buying and selling lots of different assets and companies that we were invested in or wanted to invest in. And it just so happened it was all around technology. And so we bought a company or bought a share in a company that was strategic to the public company. We ultimately took it over, and I ended up going to work there directly. And a few years later, the board invited me to be the CEO. So it was unexpected in the sense that I didn't plan it that way. And because I knew the business, I had been involved in the business for a number of years, I guess the board had confidence that I could run it and invited me to do that. And as they say, the rest is history. I sold it a few years later when we were approached by a competitor and left to take the next one. And then it was a similar kind of scenario where a few years later somebody came along and wanted to buy the company, and the shareholders wanted to do that, and sold that one and then went on to the next one. So yeah, they always seem to be very different. Different industries, different technologies, different complexities. None of them, in fact, have been at all similar. So it's taught me an awful lot about a variety of technologies. And I think now, just with experience and time, I have a very good sense of what good trends are, what has a market, what doesn't have a market. All the things that I think you need to know to make a good bet that something is going to be successful.
So that is a fascinating point to me, because how much of that for you now is instinct? How much of it do you feel like you just almost get like this tingling feeling, or there's something that you just think, I know what I need to do now?
Virtually all of it.
Really?
Yes. So I think my instincts are pretty darn good. And having learned through the previous companies a lot of lessons about what works and what doesn't work, I still, underlying all of that, I think I have very good intuition about what market needs are, about what a consumer or a corporate entity will buy and spend money on. All the different factors that I think you need to have a good sense of to ultimately be successful. So I rely on my instincts, my gut feel, my intuition a lot to make choices. And I definitely know when something feels right or something doesn't feel right.
So part of the secret to your success is trusting in,
Yes.
you know, that little voice that's inside you and saying, you know what, I'm going with my gut here.
Absolutely.
I know that this is right. Was there a time in your career when perhaps you didn't rely on that as much, and when did the shift happen for you?
I would say the first company, Fake Space, the being invited to run it by the board was unexpected for me, and I was frankly scared that I really didn't know how to do that. I didn't trust myself enough, and you know, I was reasonably young, and so it was a situation where I really had to learn how to trust myself and be okay with not making the best choices sometimes and failing, and then just moving on to the next thing and trying something different.
So I'd love to come back to that, because I think you've said some really profound points here that are really going to be helpful to our viewers. So hold on to that thought.
Absolutely.
We're going to be right back with more of Carol Lehman from Exonify here on Authentik You. Hi, I'm Susan Cranston, and welcome back to Authentik You. I'm here with the CEO of Exonify, Carol Lehman. And Carol, you've just been sharing that whole concept of what do you do when you're trusting your instincts, and sometimes things don't necessarily go the way you want them to do. What happens in a situation like that? What have you done in that scenario?
There are lots of times I've made poor decisions about many things, because oftentimes you are working with incomplete information and people with differing views about what you should do. And so at some point you have to just decide and move forward. If it's the wrong decision, you have to own it, and you have to call it quickly and move on and do something different. And so it is a case of you really need to constantly be assessing whether you're moving up the right path, looking at all the signals around you, and being confident enough to be able to say, you know what, it's not working, and that was just the wrong thing to do, and so let's figure out together what the right thing to do is and get it done.
Because if you don't, it just sort of spirals.
It absolutely does.
And then it's much harder to change course and direction once you've, gone down that path.
That's right.
There's so much of what you do that I find inspiring, particularly around, owning that and recognizing it and rallying the troops that way, but also having confidence in trusting your instinct. And there's something about that that I think is like a magical quality where you believe enough in yourself to take that leap of faith. Mm-hmm. So when you think about that, for someone that you might give advice to, How would you describe that taking that leap of faith? Because when people don't act, when there's the paralysis of the fear or the insecurity, it stops them from greatness. And yet you continue to achieve that with all of these businesses that you've come in to run. So there is a recipe for success here in taking this leap of faith. Can you tell me a bit more about that for you?
I think for me, part of it, and you know, this is going to probably not sound right, but part of it is I think the fact that I'm a woman makes me more inclined to go with the flow and just admit my mistakes sooner. In terms of the confidence, that is something that grows with time. And I kind of realized, I don't know why, fairly early on that being stuck and not adjusting course and making change and having the intestinal fortitude, frankly, in some cases, to make that change was not going to get us anywhere. And so I often say to young entrepreneurs, your goal should be to, as you're growing your company and figuring out your business, to be generally moving in the right direction and adjusting as you go along all the time with all the new information that comes to you. And make sure you don't specifically go in the wrong direction. And a lot of people specifically make poor choices and then are afraid to change them, because they've just put all their eggs in that basket and they tie their ego and their success and their pride to that one choice or event, and it can end up killing them. So somehow earlier in my career I got over that, and now I feel like a cork bobbing in the water a lot of days. I just have to kind of go with the flow, make choices, and adjust course if we need to.
Wow. I need to bottle that right there, because I think those are key components to success, and knowing to make those changes and not get so married to an idea that you can't be flexible enough to shift course quickly, nimbly, and to be flexible about it and to seek input to a certain point, perhaps.
That's right.
It's
exactly.
to a certain point. So can you tell me a little bit more about the influences around you? So when you listen to people, how much play do you give them before you say, okay, now I've got to make a decision?
I listen to an awful lot. I like to surround myself, it's the cliche, with awesome people who know a lot, who within their portfolios know more than I do about their particular area of expertise. So I trust my VP of development, my VP of marketing, my VP of sales, my VP product, whoever my direct reports are. I trust to bring me the best information that we have and collaborate with them so that we can make a collective decision that is the decision that makes sense given all that information. And so I ultimately, most times, I don't have to make a call because we all agree. The odd time, it's confusing, it's risky, it's something that isn't clear, and so I have to be the one to just pick the path and say, okay, this is what we're going to do, and that's okay.
And knowing with the plan you've just described, that if something isn't going the way you need it to, you can, own up to that and say, okay, maybe we need to shift.
Absolutely.
We need to shift course.
And it always does change. Anybody who thinks you're not going to have to adjust your business as you go along, and frequently, is deluding themselves. It never happens as fast or the way that you want it to. So you have to be open to adjusting as you go along if you're going to be successful.
Especially in the industry that you're in. Technology it's almost like a revolution. It's like a high-speed, one of those bullet trains,
Yes.
right? It's just,
Yes.
It's just changing so rapidly. It's an exciting space to be in, but even more so to have the recipe for success that you apply. So when you think about your career and you think about your life, what are the things that you wish right now you could do more of?
Gosh, I wish I could be running 3 companies at once.
Wow.
I love doing it. I dabble a little bit on the side, helping young entrepreneurs. I wish I had more time to do that. I just wish I had more time in the day generally. I love working. I love the time off I have. I would love to travel more to customers, to prospects, to speak more, to do all the things that I do. There isn't anything I don't enjoy doing. And so I always find there just simply aren't enough hours in the day to do everything.
So if I could give you 3 more hours a day as a Christmas gift, that would be a good thing?
That would be a good thing.
That would be a good thing?
Absolutely.
Great. Well, you know what? I'm going to put that on my list for Christmas this year.
Terrific.
There's so much more that I want to ask you about. And so if you can just hold on to some more of those great ideas you have, we're going to be right back after the break with more of Carol Lehman from Exonify Inc. here on Authentik You. Stay with us. Hi, I'm Susan Cranston, and welcome back to Authentik You. I'm here with the CEO of Exonify Inc., Carol Lehman. And Carol, you were just telling me about how you just love what you do, and there aren't enough hours in the day. And you know, I wish I could wave a wand and give you a few more. I could use a couple more too, actually. The secret to your success has to do with the fact that you really do love what you're doing, and that you'd like to spend more time doing that. Now, your most recent venture and the company that you're leading right now is Exonify Inc. How did you get involved in that, and what has that journey been like for you?
I got involved with Exonify because the original founders approached me for help, as many young entrepreneurs do, and they were struggling with how to grow a product that they sort of accidentally conceived of and built. And so ultimately, it was just before I sold PostRank to Google, they approached me and asked for help, and I realized it was something I could probably take over and build almost from the ground up. Wow. So that's what I did. I negotiated the acquisition of a large chunk of the company from the original founders, and I acquired a couple of their employees and brought on people that I wanted to work with from previous lives, and essentially built it from scratch. And it was the market, the product, the market opportunity that I saw with that business that really, really excited me. And the opportunity to use all the leading stuff, gamification, to basically get employees to change behavior in ways that are super beneficial for their employers and for them personally, and do it in a really fun way, was something I thought had a massive market opportunity. And so here we are 18 months later, and it has proven to be true. And so I'm really excited. We have a lot of stuff yet to do, but this particular opportunity for me had all of the ingredients of the market opportunity was there. It was a sizable market opportunity. The technology itself was very relevant and on trend and leading edge. And I had the opportunity to work with people that I wanted to work with. So on so many levels, it was the right thing to do, and it felt like the right thing to do. So I just grabbed it and went with it.
And went with it. Again, trusting your instinct, going for it. And I'm fascinated by gamification because I think that, you know, like you said, the technology is there and there's a real appetite for it. And we think about games like Angry Birds, which has adults playing games again,
Yes.
right? And you layer on something, and it's almost like an addictive quality of, you know, playing games, and it's fun.
Yes.
It's fun to be an adult and to play games. And who doesn't love to do that? But when you add on the layer of the learning element, and you make it fun,
Yes.
it's so enriched, right? So you
Absolutely.
teach people things and they're having fun at the same time.
Yes.
It is really great.
It is. It's a case of corporate learning the way it's been done traditionally. We've all been through it. You sit in a classroom for hours, or you watch online videos for hours, and our brains are simply not made to remember much of anything. So memory begins to degrade almost immediately, and all of the money wasted on learning is virtually, it's gone. And so companies have to spend that money year after year after year. And so we've locked onto this combination of things that involve gamification, game mechanics, that really drive people, just like playing a game where you want to get to the next level. You want to achieve success. You want to be rewarded in some way for undertaking an activity. That's exactly the kind of thing that we employ to get people to learn and then remember the information so that then they get out on the job and they do the things that they're supposed to be doing. And they feel great about it too, because they know they actually have learned something. So it's an awesome, awesome value proposition that I think ultimately will make us a very successful company.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. I'm looking forward to hearing more about it and the success you have with your latest organization.
Thank you.
That's fabulous. So when you think about that, what are you most proud of? Whether it's with this latest venture that you've got, or when you look back in your career, what is something that you say, wow, you know, this is something that I really feel, I feel really good about?
I would say the thing I feel best about is that over the various companies over the years, I have met the most awesome people. I have been able to gain an amazing experience and education when it comes to understanding what makes a business successful. So I have a wealth of knowledge that I just feel so privileged to have acquired as a result of that variety of experience. But I'm just most proud of the fact that I have so many great friends and supporters and coworkers and people that I can call on for help when I need it. I have such a wide variety of people who influence me and that I feel like I can beneficially influence. And so it's all those human connections that I would say have had the biggest impact on me. And that I've done that, I think, pretty successfully. And I feel very proud of it. I have awesome employees, I have awesome friends, awesome people in the community that I connect with. And so I'm very proud of that.
And as you should be. And you're so highly regarded in our community. And I think it reflects in how you think of others as well. So can you tell me a little bit about what mentorship means to you? Because I do see you as someone who has, you know, taken on, whether you work on boards, helping with university, what does that mean to you, and what role has that played?
I have kind of taken on a bit of a reputation, I guess, as somebody who will give very real advice to people who are trying to conceive and then pursue an idea. I don't sugarcoat what I think about anything. And so if I think an entrepreneur has a great idea and maybe pursuing it in not the way I would do it, I will tell them that. If I think it's a really poor idea and they should just go get a job and learn while they're getting paid by somebody else, I tell them that. If I think that they've got the wrong co-founders in the business for a variety of reasons, I will tell them that. And so I've had many entrepreneurs come back to me and say that the mentoring they got from me was the most real, not telling them, oh, you know, everything is wonderful and, oh yeah, absolutely, spend the next 2 years of your life barking up that tree. And I give them just very real advice. And I always, you know, couch it with, I don't have all the answers. I'm not the smartest person. And so, you know, there are lots of people you should talk to. I'm one of many potential voices. And so...
You're an authentic mentor, and you are a gem in our community. And I thank you so much for being with me here on Authentik You today and for sharing all these insights, because you've given us so many really helpful tips. Thank you very much, Carol.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us today on Authentik You. There are many ways you could have spent the last 30 minutes, and I'm delighted that you chose to spend it with us. And if you'd like to know more information about our guest or about Authentik You, please connect with us at AuthentikYou.com or be social with us on Facebook or on Twitter at Authentik You, and that's Authentic with a K. Special thanks to set design by David Boys, hair by Scott Keller of So Chic, and makeup by Jen Havinga of Distinct Boutique. Finally, thanks to my fabulous crew here at Rogers TV, and thanks for watching. Remember, it's always a good day to be your authentic self.